Chris, thank you so much for having us today.
Thanks for being here. Welcome.
So I think the first thing that we have to talk about is food halls. You guys had a very big opening this summer at City Point. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. As we designed and began constructing City Point, the first thing for us, which was really important, was to de-risk certain elements of the project. We're a 5-level, 700,000 square foot commercial base of a 1.9 million square foot mixed-use development. So we wanted to de-risk it in a number of ways, one of which was to lease the upper floors. So on level 2 is Target, level 3 and 4 is Century 21, level 5 is Alamo Drafthouse. We then began to look at the other floors, which are the lower level and the ground floor. The lower level was going to be for us a big box retail or large format fitness or something like that, perhaps another department store. But what we started to do is listen to the community carefully about the lack of great food options that were meeting the demands of these new downtown Brooklyn residents. So we looked at the lower levels and opportunities, 67,000 square feet. Could we make that all food? Sounds ambitious, but no. So early on, we contacted Anna Castellani. Anna Castellani is a Brooklyn native. She owns Foragers in Dumbo. She has a Foragers in Manhattan as well. And we sort of partnered up with her as the local food expert. She had the contacts and tentacles out throughout the outer boroughs particularly to identify those food users who were truly unique, who could meet the demands of this burgeoning downtown Brooklyn community growing so fast. And we engaged with her in a partnership where she is our food hall operator, and we give her all of the credit for the design and the curation of these really ambitious food entrepreneurs that we've collected in the lower level, which we call DeKalb Market. Along the way, we also identified Trader Joe's, which took 20,000 square feet immediately adjacent to the food hall, and then 2 restaurants. So together, that is our 4th anchor.
It almost feels like food halls are the answer to the retail crisis.
We don't like the word retail crisis or retail apocalypse. I think that's being overstated a little bit, not to be critical, but we look at it as a retail evolution, and that's our business, right? So retail evolves, and it's Darwinian in its nature in that there are failures along the way. We didn't choose food to be an alternative to retail. We chose it to be a complement to retail. And the early read is, given the traffic generation of the lower level food in the aggregate, so Trader Joe's and DeKalb Market, the traffic generation by that lower level food experience has been extraordinary.
What do you think goes into making a good food hall?
It's 2 things. It's design and curation of the right mix. Maybe it's 3. It's a leader who has the passion and the know-how to get that done. And I don't say that lightly. I think there's a lot of food halls. I think there'll be fewer great food halls. Anna Castellani, as our leader, was key to its success. Her input in the design of it is key to its success. And then especially her ability to curate this eclectic group of operators, most of whom I had never heard of. So I live in Greenwich, Connecticut, right? And I'm from Long Island. So I'm less cool than the people I want to serve at City Point. And I'm less knowledgeable about what are the right food vendors who will succeed in the aggregate. Anna knew all of that. She educated us along the way, and it's playing out exactly the way she expected and we had hoped.
Wow, it sounds like a lot of these brands are not the normal,
They're not.
well-known, trafficked brands. They're smaller, more specialized brands.
Our ground floor is a collection of small stores. So they are smaller in square footage. They're also smaller in that they're not national chains. Some of them are pure play e-commerce brands that are opening up sometimes their first or early vintage stores with us in Brooklyn. That's very exciting to us.
How has the retail climate affected the industry outside of New York?
So we're not immune from what you guys report on and we read about every day in great publications like the Commercial Observer. We're seeing a lot of retail stress in those retailers who are slow to or reluctant to evolve. We saw that with Linens and Things. We saw that with Borders. We've seeing it with H.H. Gregg and others. Those retailers who can't find a way to be relevant to their customers will continue to realize stress. And we understand that. What we own in our core portfolio especially is high barrier to entry shopping centers in extraordinary markets where they're very tough to build again. There's still a tremendous amount of retailer demand for those. So if you think about the markets where we own, Washington, D.C., New York, Boston, Chicago, in San Francisco, the demand for those locations in those suburban submarkets remains very, very strong.
Last question for you. I know it's terrible to single out a favorite child, but what's your favorite thing to eat at City Point?
So there's a tenant there called Shack Collective, which is a collection of tacos, burritos. I just think that they do a great job of presenting really fresh options. But it is, like you said, really unfair and difficult to single out a favorite. The Cats experience, I can't eat that every day.
Nobody could.
But it's pretty damn good occasionally, and I really enjoy it. So look, there's 40 vendors down there. I haven't eaten at all of them yet. I've eaten probably at half of them, and they're all good. I encourage you and everyone else to go try it and come up with your own favorite, but we'll see how it goes over time.
Chris, thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for your interest. I appreciate it very much.